Have you ever thought about what the worst place to get a paper cut, at least realistically, get a paper cut on? Because I always thought like the worst spot that you could ever have it is like between the cracks in your fingers, because that would just feel absolutely awful, and I am now cringing that I even brought it up. Hello everybody, this is That Manga Dude, and welcome to another reading log. Today I talk about everything that I read in the beautiful month of March 2025. It was a great month, actually. I actually read way more, and as I was pulling out all the manga, I was like, wow, I actually read a lot. And a lot of different series, a lot of different just stuff in general. Finished a lot of series, started a lot of series, so yeah, really excited to get into it. Let's get started right now. Alrighty, so to talk about the first manga that I read in the month of March 2025 is going to be Blue Box Volume 14 from Kouji Miura. Don't know why I had such a hard time reading that for some reason, but yeah, great volume. I continue to really enjoy the series. I think we're getting kind of like a side couple possibly brewing, which is nice. We get more of the sports stuff that I love so much. The badminton things just constantly going on. Yeah, I don't know, I really enjoy the series, even if it isn't like necessarily the best romance series, not really even the best sports series either. It is still very enjoyable in a variety of aspects. I really like how the action is drawn whenever they are playing sports. I just wish there was more of a focus on one or the other, but it does have a solid mix. It's definitely a jack of all trades, not necessarily a master of none. So yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I'm excited to read the next one. Alright, up next, decided to read the first volume of A Star Brighter Than the Sun from Kazune Kawahara. This is the new manga that we just got out in English from Shoujo Beat, from a very famous shoujo artist, Kazune Kawahara. She is the mangaka behind High School Debut, and this is a really beautiful series. Follows a story about this young girl who's always been like kind of like seen as the tall girl, the strong girl, the whatever. Has never really been seen for anything other than that, and she has already been developing feelings for her childhood friend, who's now become this more handsome guy when he used to be kind of like the short kid, the one that wasn't really that needed somebody to help. So really great first volume. I enjoyed it a lot. Really great to see Kazune Kawahara's art again for the first time in a while. So yeah, overall, what a good first volume, and if you want my full opinions on this, you can go check out the FVI over there. Alright, up next, decided to read the 9th volume of Kowloon Generic Romance, Volume 9 from Jun Miyazuki, and yep, continues to be an absolutely fantastic sci-fi, romance, strange, surreal, just really good series across the board. The plot is getting really thick, and a lot of mysteries continue to build. This whole idea of like a real and fake thing going on, it just, wow, I don't know, it's really well done, and I love this volume, and I'm now even more confused but also intrigued as we continue throughout this. So very curious as to what's going to happen next, specifically with what's going on with Generic Terra and everything and all these. It's a lot, but I love it, and yeah, another great volume. And then I'm next excited to read the first volume of Mai Matsuda's Hikaru in the Light. This is from Scholastic, and yeah, this was a very good volume, very good first volume. It's in full color, which is super awesome, and very affordable. It's only $11.99, so it's the same price as a normal Viz Media volume, and yet this is full color, better pages, better pizza, Papa John's. But really great series. Follows a story about this girl here, Hikaru, who has always enjoyed singing and dancing, and has dreamed about becoming a pop idol, but has kind of resigned herself to taking over the family business of this bathhouse that she lives in, close by, that's owned by her grandpa. But after a new kind of like idol program starts up, she basically decides to shoot her shot, and is going to join this program and shoot for the stars. So that's why she's in the light, and it's really great. I mean, I love the story. I love the art. The art is absolutely gorgeous, even without the color. The really great posing, just solid, like, facial expressions, great compositions just across the board. Yeah, really good, and I love this first volume, and I'm super excited to continue reading this one. Alright, up next, I decided to read Meth, the complete edition from Kenji Sudabuchi. This is a volume that I received for free from Yen Press, so thank you very much for this review copy. And to be completely honest, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool in some aspects. I love the action. I like the art style quite a bit. It has a very kind of like looser, big heads, big eyes, really fun art style. The action is very solid across the board. Some really great designs as well. just across the board. I really like where the story goes up until a certain point. I do think it ends extremely abruptly, and I feel like the last chapter doesn't really wrap up anything of importance. But overall, I did really enjoy the series, and I'm kind of curious to continue reading what Kenji Tsunabuchi's also released, which is, I believe, Togen Oni is his other series or something like that. So I will be checking that out at some point in the future. Alright, up next, decided to read Four Lives Remain, Tatsuya Endo Before Spy Family. Obviously, this is by Tatsuya Endo, the mangaka behind, as you would guess it, Spy Family. So this is his, like, first few one-shots. It's really interesting to read because, like, you can definitely tell that his art style is not fully decided and figured out. You could tell there's like a much more an older art style in this style here when he was releasing stuff back in the 2000s. So it's very interesting to read. I always like these like short story collections. I like them when they finally get released in English so we can get them in official print. I really like this one. I like the One Piece one, the Eiichiro Oda one as well. So this one was really cool. I think it's just got a solid mix of stories. I think my favorite one is like the Western story. And yeah, I guess you should check it out if you like Tatsuya Endo. Alright, up next, decided to read Sakamoto Days Volume 16 from Yoto Suzuki, an absolutely fantastic volume, as per usual. I just realized that this is not in center. I surely should be checking that more. But really great series. I love it. And yeah, we get to introduce to the sniper guy. I forgot his name, unfortunately. I'm sorry. If you've come to watch my videos, you know I'm very terrible with names. But yes, another very fantastic volume. And we're finally getting, I think, to a pretty big breaking point, especially with this museum arc coming up. Alright, up next, I decided to read Juju on That Beat, Volume 25 from Gege Akutami. It definitely feels like we're extremely close to endgame, and I already know we are because there's only 5 more volumes after this. And yes, we finally get to see Gojo for the first time in a very, 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 very long time. We got the iconic panel that I guess really got people in a tizzy when I posted it because somebody was like, oh, that's not what he says. He doesn't say not I'd win. He says blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, I mean, this is the official translation. It may not be the best, but it is official, so I don't know, man. So, it is what it is. Jujutsu Kaisen has been a very interesting read. I can't say I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought there were some really great parts throughout this series, but I do feel like the calling game really kind of tore it apart for me. It really just kind of fell apart in terms of the pacing, in terms of just the character development. It just didn't seem like it was going anywhere personally. So, interesting to be kind of more in line with what I was expecting for the series into this volume. So, yeah, hopefully it ends out strong. Alright, up next, decided to read Super Ball Girls, Volume 1 from Minayuki Kaneshiro and Akira Hiramoto. This is the mangaka supergroup, or whatever you want to call it, between the mangaka behind Blue Lock and the mangaka behind Prison School. So, definitely a combination of the ages, and yeah, it culminated in this series here. Follows a story about this guy who's just kind of like run-of-the-mill job, working at a factory, working at a chocolate factory, kind of just going like through the motions in life, and then after his coworker has basically a mental breakdown, he's like, am I going to become like that too? He ends up finding this mysterious ball on the ground, and the mysterious ball becomes a girl, and yes, she is naked, basically. And then after they do some stuff, and then she spawns these other girls who are also naked, and then it becomes this strange male power fantasy thing. And if you know me and my taste in manga, I'm not like the biggest fan of series that really focus on fan service, especially like to this extent. I know this is supposed to lean more into like kind of a parody and a satire of those kinds of series, but I feel like it doesn't lean heavily enough in it that it makes me believe that. It just feels really strange. Don't really like the main character. He's kind of not great, and he somehow gets all these beautiful women, of course, because that's just how it is. So not necessarily the most interesting series for me, and personally it's just not my kind of thing. But there is some solid art. I mean, as you would expect. I can't flip through it because, like I said, there is a lot of nudity. So yes, please make sure that if you are buying this for somebody, yeah, parental advisory, of course. Alright, up next, decided to finish off Last Quarter from Ai Yazawa. This is Volume 2, and wow, what an ending to the series. Definitely wasn't expecting the massive plot twist right at the end. I was like, wait, what? Is that what happened? No way. Really great volume. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a very fantastic mystery series. Follows a story about this like group of kids, sort of. This group of kids who find this abandoned mansion, and when they walk in, one of the girls is able to see this mysterious blonde woman, and it's about them trying to figure out who this person is, why they're here, and if they can help them in any way. So it's a very interesting concept, and it's really well done, as you would expect from an Aizawa series. The writing is fantastic. It's beautiful. A lot of really emotional and just really strong moments between the characters and between just kind of everyone in general. So really enjoyed it. I love this. And it is now, I would say, my favorite Aizawa work. And please note that I have not read Nana, so I don't have an opinion on that, but maybe I will when I decide to read it. Alrighty, up next, decided to read Touring After the Apocalypse from Sakae Sato. This is volume 5, and yep, this continues to be a really great series. I've been thoroughly enjoying this one. It has an extremely emotional moment towards the end of the volume, and I was like, oh man, you gotta do me dirty like this? Why would you do this to me? But it's a really great, post-apocalyptic, slice life series. I really enjoyed it. I think there's some pretty interesting, surreal moments, and kind of mystery that's still within the series as well, that hopefully maybe will get solved, but even if we don't, it's still a very enjoyable read. So really like this volume, and yeah, can't wait to continue reading. Alright, up next, decided to read the first volume of The Failure at God School from Otomu Akagawara. Wow, what a mouthful. Natsu Hyuga and Seikaisha, I think is how you pronounce that. Follows a story about this girl who is whose sibling is a god candidate, basically, or has all these magical abilities, and she doesn't seem to have any at all. But after a kind of strange interaction that happens within the forest, she ends up getting elected to go to this god school so that she could become one of those gods. And she is kind of struggling with everything because she has no powers, but maybe she does. Yeah, it's actually a really good read. I really liked it a lot. I think that the advertising for it as a romance series is incorrect, because there really isn't any at this point in time. It's more of a school life, kind of like mystery fantasy in a way. A lot of stuff about gods and magic and powers. So, I don't know. It looks like it's going to be a great time. If you're a fan of something like why am I blanking? Iruma-kun, I think you're going to like this as well. Alright, up next, I decided to read all of Cardcaptor Sakura, Master of the Cloud. This is volumes 1 through 6. Well, it's only volumes 1 and 6, but I read all of it, all 1 through 6. So this is supposed to be the continuation of the original Cardcaptor Sakura series, where it follows her after she's discovered all the cards, and now she's starting to transform her cards into her own. So, yeah, this was, I did like it. I thought it was enjoyable. In comparison to the original series, though, I do think that this one kind of struggles with being repeating and samey in a way. I feel like the stakes aren't as high in comparison to the first series, but it's still very enjoyable. It's more great outfits from for Sakura, more just kind of interesting, fun times, and definitely a plot twist that I was not expecting. I kind of expected it after a certain point, but I was kind of like, really? That's what it is, huh? But overall, Cardcaptor Sakura is fantastic. It's a really, really fun series, by far, and Clamp did a very good job with this. It's very fun, it's very entertaining, it's very beautiful across the board. The art is fantastic, and yeah, I really enjoyed reading it, and I'm definitely interested to read Clear Card. I don't know how good it's going to be, but I am going to be reading it soon. Alright, up next, excited to read the first volume of Dog's Bread from Satoru Noda. This is volume 1 of the absolutely ridiculous hockey series from the manga behind Golden Kamui. And if you did not read or watch my FVI from March, this was a very entertaining volume. I had a great time with it. It's ridiculous. It's over the top, as you would expect, but it's still pays a proper tribute to ice hockey. I think it teaches it very well without being overbearing and explaining the rules in one fell swoop. And yeah, you're just gonna have a great time with it. If you liked Golden Kamui, I think you're gonna like this as well. Alright, let's continue. So up next, I decided to read the 4th volume of Fool Night from Kasumi Yasuda, and wow, what an absolutely fantastic series. I love it so much. We get to visit this kind of shanty town that they have going on, and it's just really depressing. It's really sad, but man, it's so well done, and I just love the political themes and kind of the idea of nature versus you know, humanity, and how that kind of fuses together in this very complex and very dark world, literally and figuratively. I don't know, it's just very, very good. I really enjoyed this series, and yes, this was another fantastic volume. Alright, up next, decided to be the first volume of Eureka 7 from Bones and Jinsei Kataoka and Kazuma Kondo. This is the same mangaka duo behind, yes, you've guessed it, Dead Man Wonderland. And yeah, this is a pretty fun, crazy series. It follows the story of Renton, who's this guy in the back, and he's always dreamed of like becoming this like kind of like air skateboarder or whatever you want to call it. They have like the name for it in the series, but I'm blanking on it right now. But he's always wanted to like become a like almost professional in a way and join this like super interesting kind of like vigilante group that like kind of goes around and does a variety of different things, and then he ends up getting his chance after he meets this girl here whose name is Eureka. And yeah, it's about like skateboarding and giant mechs and stuff like that. It's ridiculous, but man, it is a great time. It's very fun. The art is very well done, as you would expect from the mangakas behind Dead Man Wonderland. And yeah, can't wait to continue reading this one and hopefully watch the anime sometime soon. Alright, up next, decided to read The Anemone Feels the Heat Volume 1 from Ren Sakuragi. This was a very solid Yuri romance series. I really enjoyed it. I liked this first volume. I talked about this in my FVI, but to give you the TLDR, it's very cute. The art is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a very classic trope of like kind of like the quieter girl and the more like rambunctious, loud girl. And yeah, follows the story about this girl here who's like getting ready to go take a test at the school that she's always wanted to, the high school that she's wanted to go to, but ends up missing it because of a girl passes out. So now that she's going to a different school, she decides to change her kind of her whole identity, but lo and behold, the girl that she ended up helping out is going to the same school as her now. So it's about her kind of trying to figure out her feelings about this girl here because she kind of ruined her dreams, but also has like this sense of sympathy towards her because of some things that they explain in the story. So overall, I enjoyed it. I'm excited to see how this relationship is going to build out, whether it's going to be a slow burn or whether it's going to go fast. I'm interested to see where it goes. Alright, up next, excited to read Canis, Dear Mr. Rain from Zack. This is the prequel to the series Canis, and loved this volume. Wow, this was crazy. We basically get, like I said, the prequel to everything that happens within Canis, which is a 2-volume series from Kuma, and yeah, I really enjoyed this. It's an extremely well done series. I love the art. I love this print. I love this cover and spine as well. But if you don't know what Canis is all about, it follows a story about a hat maker who ends up meeting or ends up finding this guy after he's like kind of struggling to find someone who could work at his hat shop, and he finds this person just kind of in an alleyway, just passed out, and he's like, maybe come work for me, I'll come help you. And yeah, it's about them as they develop their relationship with one another, and definitely some interesting like mafia and mafia and gang ties associated with this man here. And yeah, overall really enjoyed it. This was a very good prequel volume. I would highly suggest reading the original series first, because I think it makes more sense actually to read the original series and then read the prequel. But yeah, really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Alright, up next, decided to read the second volume of Dragon Chameleon from Ryo Ishiyama. This follows the kind of like ridiculous like test basically, and it definitely ends completely out of the blue, not the way that I was expecting personally, but I really liked how this volume ends. So I'm really interested. It's got me completely hooked. If you don't know what the series is about, follows a story about these two mangaka. One of them is a super famous like series mangaka who is creating a super popular fantasy action series, while this other guy is more of like an assistant, but is able to kind of be a chameleon and kind of can copy basically anybody else's art styles. So after a weird, strange accident, they switch bodies, and now the mangaka, who is super famous, now has to basically restart himself all over again in the body of a person that a lot of mangaka and other people do not like. So definitely an kind of an underdog-ish story, and it actually does delve pretty well into manga and how it's all created and everything like that. So I really enjoyed this volume. I thought this one was really good. Alright, up next, excited to read the second volume of Destroy All Humans! They Can't Be Regenerated from Katsura Issei and Takuma Yokota. Just a really enjoyable, kind of nostalgic series, just following the story about some high schoolers who really enjoy playing Magic the Gathering, and yep, that just continues to be a really fun series. I actually enjoyed it, and this one just has like kind of like a tournament arc, which is kind of fun, and I really like that our main character is actually not that good at Magic, but very much enjoyed this volume. Alright, up next, I decided to read a comic, actually, and this is called The King's Warrior from Huahuazu. This is a really interesting series. Basically, it follows the story about this person here, who is kind of led on to this task to go defeat this evil wizard that's in a castle. So, yeah, it's about their journey to doing that, and there's like kind of like this underlying theme of what's truly going on. Like, they have a brother who has been trapped by the kingdom, and so it's kind of like doing the whim of the king. And yeah, it's got a really depressing ending. I feel like you're not going to expect it, but the art is really gorgeous. It's this kind of like monotone, or not monotone, but like a very small palette, but it's very enjoyable. The action's great, the art is gorgeous, and just a very good release in general. I really like this. Up next, decided to read the first volume of Ultra Heaven from Keiichi Koike, and this was an absolutely crazy, wild, strange, ridiculous, over-the-top, wow, absolutely gorgeous, surreal, crazy art. Follows a story about like these people who live in this kind of dystopian world where drugs are basically everything, and the specific one that he takes, it's called like basically called Ultra Heaven, and he starts to trip crazy balls towards the end of this volume. What a weird, strange, but super enticing and very interesting read. I'm excited to get to the next one as soon as possible because this was really cool. And it's also from a small publisher, a smaller publisher called Last Gasp, which is really cool. So definitely go support small publishers today. Up next, decided to read the 9th volume of Insomniac's After School from Makoto Ojiro, another beautiful series that I love talking about and I love reading, and it's just super enjoyable. And yeah, you can tell we're getting towards the end. Another just like, oh no, not like this at the end of this volume. So yeah, really like this one, and I hope it ends nice. Alright, up next, excited to read the 5th volume of Sketchy from Maki Hirochi. I think this is probably the most impactful volume of the series up to this point. We have a really strong, a really great moment with the main character as some things at her job are going on and she's kind of discovering herself and what she truly wants to do. I really appreciate this series. It's a lot of fun. If you don't know what the series is, I've talked about it on this channel quite a bit, but it is a really enjoyable skateboarding series following the story about these variety of women who get into skateboarding, and yeah, it's just really well done. It's really great, and I really enjoyed this volume. Alright, up next, I decided to read The Boy Who Ruled the Monsters. Before I knew it, the ultimate specialized sports skill led to the world's ultimate party volume 1 from Katsuyuki Tamon, Sin Guilty, and Nakamura 8. I was provided this review copy from Yen Press, so once again, thank you. And to be completely honest, it's not my thing. It follows the same kind of like logic I have towards Super Ball Girls, where it's kind of like a male power fantasy. I just don't really like those kinds of series, and it's just, I don't know, it's not really my thing, but it basically follows a story about this guy who has like this super strong ability that allows him to kind of like level up and control how people's skills and spells and abilities are given and stuff like that. So he has an absolutely broken ability, and he's kind of like creating this team that is trying to kind of defeat all of the monsters in the world and stuff like that so that everyone can live peacefully. And yeah, I don't know, it's fine, it's just not really my thing. It's okay. I don't really know how much else I can say about it. It's got decent art, and it's kind of funny here and there, but yeah, it definitely follows the classic tropes that I am not particularly fond of. Alright, up next, one that is not, is Mentalist Volume 7 from Suru Maikata. Oh my goodness, what a fantastic volume. Got me stressed out, but there's so many touching moments in this specific volume. I love this series to death at this point. I've started watching the anime with my wife, and it's beautiful. It's so much fun. It's really good. If you're not reading it at this point, you really should be, because man, there ain't no turning back. Alright, I'm next deciding to read Volume 9 of my special one from Momoko Koda, and I think Momoko Koda has decided who the true main couple of this series is, and I agree because these two are adorable and lovely, and I love them so much. And I'm constantly rooting for them. And yes, we do get some spicy little moments in this volume specifically, and yes, I am so happy for them. Thank you. I'm glad that they finally figured it out. And I love how awkward they are. They are adorable. Alright, I'm next excited to read Komi Can't Communicate Volume 33 from Tomohito Oda, and like I always say, it's Komi. Thank you. Alright, I'm next excited to read Volume 6 of Dinosaur Sanctuary from Itaro Kinoshita and Shinichi Fujiwara, and I made a Twitter post about this because this series is so amazing. Honestly, it's extremely well done, it's light, it's fluffy, it's fun, and also extremely educational. You get to learn so much about dinosaurs, and how much fun is that? It is so much fun. Just really, really well done. I love the story, I love the characters, I love our goofy little dinosaurs, and I think it's just the perfect mix of educational and entertainment. I think it's really, really great. And honestly, it's perfect for any age, to be completely honest. Alright, up next, Historical Fantasy Series Red River Volumes 4 through 6 from Chie Shinohara. And wowee, this one gets really intense. We go into enemy lines, and it is getting wild and crazy, and I am stressed and I am sweaty, but it is very, very, very good across the board. A very intense historical fantasy. I will say that the art style is not necessarily my favorite thing. I'm not like the biggest fan of older shoujo style personally, but there's a lot of really actually solid and very awesome art across the board, even if like some of the characters kind of throw me off for the most part, but really, really beautiful, and excited to read that next volume. Alright, I'm next excited to read One Piece, Volume 108 from Eiichiro Oda, and yes, we continue to get more and more backstory, and we actually get to meet one of like the elders and see him actually do something, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, what a great series. I love One Piece so much. It's just a great time. I don't know, every volume is super enjoyable, and I'm excited to continue through Egghead. Alright, I'm next decided to read Shortcuts, Volume 2 from Usamaru Furuya. This is a literal short story collection. Like, I mean, like, really, really short. Some of these stories are, like, only a couple pages long, and it's just basically just a bunch of random stories that Usamaru Furuya has created, and some of them are funny and some of them are not. It's exactly what you'd expect from, like, basically, like, 100 different short stories, but very old school. It's entertaining in some aspects, but also really weird and kind of creepy in some other aspects, so take that as you will. I think it's really fun, and I actually preferred this one over the first volume. Up next, I decided to read Beyblade X from Homura Kawamoto and Hikaru Muno, as well as Posaka Demizu. Yes, this is another strange pairing, but absolutely fantastic series. I really enjoyed this a lot, actually. But if you don't know these manga, Posaka Demizu is the artist behind Promised Neverland, and the two story artists are the story people behind Kakegurui. So what a matchup. Beyblade X is really, really fun. Follows the story about this kid here who kind of sucks at Beyblade, but ends up joining teams forces with this guy named X, who has this giant X on his face, who is someone very, very important, but I will not say it unless you, in case you want to read it. But they end up creating a Beyblade team, and it's about them ascending the tower in order to become the best Beybladers. So really great first volume, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. Had to pause for a second because my camera was about to die, but let's continue. So we have ourselves Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts Heir, White Rabbit and the Prince of Beasts, Volume 1 from Yu Tomofuji. What an absolute mouthful, and this is another volume that I actually got for free from Yen Press, so once again, thank you very much. And yeah, I did enjoy this. I will say I am missing a significant amount of context about the original series. Excuse me, the original series, so I don't know much about the original series, but as a standalone series, it is pretty fun. I think it's kind of like one of those rich kid goes away and ends up learning more about actually being a human being, or actually being, I guess, like an adult, or kind of like seeing the world for what it is. So it's cute, it's fun, and I don't know if I'm going to continue reading it per se, but it is very fun. I think if you read the original series, you'll probably enjoy this a lot more than I did, but it's a very solid fantasy series across the board. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, up next, excited to read Twin Star Exorcist Volume 26. Yeah, from Yoshiaki Sukeno. Oh, God. Every time I pause on the series and then come back to it, I'm like, why did I pause? I love this series a lot. It's really, really good. And this volume continues to be really, really good, especially with what happens at the end of it. Why? This has happened to me. But yeah, action continues to be fantastic. The drama has definitely escalated pretty significantly, but interested to see where we're going with the story towards the end of this series. Alright, up next, decided to read Seraphim 266613336 Wings from Mamoru Oshii and Satoshi Kon. Yes, this is the duo, some very famous manga slash just directors and creators in general. Mamoru Oshii is the Ghost in the Shell creator, and Satoshi Kon is a very famed director of Paprika and Tokyo Godfathers and Perfect Blue. And yeah, what an interesting combination. Basically, it follows a story about these three people who are like kind of named after, I want to say, the Three Musketeers or something like that. At least that's what their names kind of like rang in my head. But it's extremely well done. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a very entertaining, surreal, political, fantasy thriller, kind of dystopian as well. I will say, though, just as a heads up, that this is unfinished. I don't know if necessarily on purpose, but the series is unfinished by the manga. They just never ended the series, like never truly ended the series. It gets up to a really, really good part, and you're just like, no. But I absolutely loved it. It's got absolutely gorgeous art, fantastic visuals across the board, a great story, and I really just wish it was finished. But fortunately, Satoshi Kon has passed away, so that's never going to happen. But for what we got, this was very enjoyable. Alright, I'm next excited to read the second volume of Eden of Witches from Yumeji, and this was a really good volume as well. We do get to finally meet another witch, which is cool, and I really liked her as a character because she helps train our main character a lot, just because she's not very good at what she does. But interested to see how this series continues, because we do get to meet another witch as well, and some crazy stuff happens towards the end of this volume. So we're building up to a big confrontation coming into volume 3. So excited to see how that plays out, and yeah, can't wait for the next volume. Alright, I'm next excited to read Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto Volume 1 from Nami Sano, and this was so stupid, but I loved it so much. It is hilarious, it's ridiculous. It follows a story about this guy here named Sakamoto, who is just like this kind of just quirky, weird, strange guy, and manages to just do everything absolutely perfectly, but also in like the weirdest way possible. So I love it. There's a lot of great moments. There's already the wasp scene, if you don't know, and just some other crazy, ridiculous scenes. So I really enjoyed it, and definitely excited to get that next volume. Alright, up next, decided to read the first volume of Ghost Talker's Daydream. So it follows a story about this girl here, who works for a specific place. I cannot say specifically, but she also doubles as a ghost talker, who is like a person who kind of like an exorcist in a way, helps to get rid of these spirits that are infecting these places, whether they're apartments or buildings or various other things. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's very old school, I will say. So like a lot of the jokes are kind of like aged, not necessarily the best, but I think it's got some decent art, and it's pretty fun. I like this first volume, so I'm excited to read the next volume soon. Alright, up next, decided to read this is the last volume I actually read, and this is volume 1 of Murder Princess from Sekihiko Inoue, and yeah, it follows the story about this girl here, sort of. So it follows this woman here, who is actually a big mercenary. She's super powerful and stuff like that, but after a freak accident where a princess falls out of the sky and they hit each other, they switch bodies, so now the big old bad mercenary has become a princess on the run in a way, and it's ridiculous, it's crazy, it's fun, it's entertaining, and it's so stupid, but I actually really enjoyed it. I had a great time with it, and I'm happy that I picked up the 2 volumes at the same time, because I will be reading the second volume very soon. And that's gonna be it for this video. I am parched. I wish I had drank some water, but yeah, I read a lot of fantastic manga. It was a lot of fun, and yeah. Did you read any of these series? Let me know in the comments below. And what did you read in the month of March, or whenever you are watching this? Let me know in the comments below as well. And thank you so much for watching, as always. And you know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all amazing things, and I really appreciate it when you do those things. And yep, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye-bye-bye!